Welcome back, wise guys and gals. Today I got a real beaut for you. Groundhog Day. To all the fellas in the Bing, here's your 5 minutes of bliss from yours truly, the movie Don. Carmine, roll the tape. This is a classic. Another grand pairing between Bill Murray and Ghostbusters director Harold Ramis. Rest in peace. This time round, the dry wit of Murray plays out in the persona of Phil, a bitter, sardonic TV weatherman who gets stuck in a time loop in some hick town. He's a guy who predicts the future, but must relive the same day over and over and over until finally he learns the meaning of love. Something. I don't know. Who cares about that when the whole town is wide open? This guy runs the gauntlet on every crook, con, and heist without consequences. It's a dream come true for a hard-working New York businessman such as myself.
But your business is, a little dangerous.
Yet the filmmakers know when to move on and get the goods. The idea doesn't outstay its welcome, and it's kept fresh and entertaining with frequent flips, twists, and reimaginings. But can you imagine what it'd have been like if Ramis cast Tom Hanks instead? That was his first pick, but Hanks is too nice. Murray is much more believable as the guy who will first exploit his time travel gimmick, and second, learn how to be a wise guy. Most of his lessons come from pursuing love interest Andy McDowell, hands down the biggest blast from the past. I'm not sure why she's not around like she was back in the 80s and 90s, because she's a solid, dependable performer, and that's what you want. Someone you can trust, someone you can rely on, someone who ain't gonna go flapping their gums to the feds at the first sign of trouble. Apparently, they shot the closing scene with her together in bed 25 times. They wanted to get the tone right, and even had a vote on set to decide whether the characters should still have their clothes on or not. In the end, love beat lust, which is a sign of a feel-good movie. But I do have some bones to pick. At just over 90 minutes, the flick is shorter than a lot of modern-day movies, but given how basic the love story is and how much of the story relies on the intelligent use of the premise, your mileage may vary. For me, I had to admit that 3/4 of the way through, I'd seen every time travel gag the universe had to offer. Unfortunately, the romance subplot wasn't as hard-hitting as it needed to be to make up for lost time. I know it ain't Titanic or Gone with the Wind, but as we entered the third act, I couldn't help but check my watch. Maybe that was part of the plan. Maybe a good time travel movie makes the audience aware of how much time is passing. You can't deny the team had a blast putting this picture together. There's plenty of Easter eggs, and blink and you'll miss it gags. Take the kid that Murray rescues from the tree near the end. The gravity-prone tyke actually appears earlier in the movie during a hospital scene. If you look closely in the background, you'll see him with a leg wrapped in a cast because Murray ain't come around to save him yet. It makes sense for a movie about a time loop to have rewatchability. The big question I have, though, is how long was Phil stuck reliving Groundhog Day? The director said that the original idea had him redo the same 24 hours for 10,000 years. That's a mighty stint just because the groundhog didn't see its shadow. Thankfully, he got a reduced sentence, because in the end, the director only gave him 10 years. In the film, though, only 38 days are depicted, which is still enough to make any man go cuckoo. That's probably why the filmmakers avoided showing any of Phil's darker side. But you just know, Phil came out of that experience as a stand-up guy. The movie's great, and one of the few time travel movies that doesn't suck. No wonder it was selected in 2006 for preservation in the National Film Registry by the Library of Congress for being culturally, historically, and aesthetically significant. I promise this is the only time I'll agree with the government. Speaking of which, I think I hear sirens in the distance, so let me get out of your hair. Just be sure to leave a like and hit the subscribe button, okay? Don't leave your buddy the Don out to dry, because I'll be back soon with a new movie. Forget about it.